Hello, Eamon McAuley here, Belfast boxing historian. Back with another wee chat. Not so much about boxing, but I seen something that my friend Patrick Loughren from Ballymena had put on Facebook a few months ago. He named all the celebrities he had met. Patrick's travelled the world, and he threw out the challenge: Has anybody met more celebrities? Uh, I didn't respond, but it's a wet day in Belfast. I'm bored out of my head. I'm always writing. It helps my mental, to combat dementia and stuff like that. Uh, so I said to myself, I'll write down all the celebrities I've met in my time that I can remember. And there could be more, but I don't know, Patrick. See what you think here. See if I can meet your challenge. There's a lot of boxers here, as you would expect. But here we go. Uh, Floyd Patterson, former world heavyweight champion. And there's stories behind all these names, but if I was to tell the stories, we'd be here for hours. So I'll just tell a few stories about a few, not them all. Floyd Patterson, former world heavyweight champion. Met him in Los Angeles, 1987. Lovely man. Joe Frazier, former world heavyweight champion. Met him in Belfast, Wellington Park Hotel. Lovely man. He was with his son, Marvis. George Savallo, met him in Toronto, Canada. Was deeply moved by his talk. He has lost 3 sons to heroin, and his wife took her own life. And he works tirelessly for mental health and people with addictions. Not an ounce of self-pity in his voice. Was deeply moved, almost to tears. What a wonderful, lovely man. And a tough man in the bargain. Took the best punches of George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. Henry Cooper, met Henry a few times. Eddie Futch, I met Eddie Futch up at the Holy Trinity Boxing Club. He was over with Eamon McAuley. Eamon was topping the bill at the Macefield and I was on the bill. Lovely man, Eddie Futch. I remember speaking to him about Riddick Bowe. Roberto Duran, met him in Belfast. And I was in Panama, and I was in his manager Louis Spada's house in Panama. But I met him in Belfast. Sugar Ray Leonard, met him in Manchester. Tim Witherspoon, David Tua, James Toney, Danny Little Red Lopez, Ricky Hatton, and Barry McGuigan. I haven't met Tony, Danny Little Red Lopez, or James Toney, or David Tua, but I have got photos of them holding my book. I've met Ricky Hatton and Barry McGuigan lots of times. In fact, Barry's my mate. Steve Collins, Liam Neeson, Sylvester Stallone, George Galloway, Nigel Benn, Jerry Adams, Kenny Dalglish, Tim Witherspoon, Johnny Adair, Aaron Barkley, Ray Mercer, and Kelly Pavlik. Shannon Briggs I haven't met, but a photos of them holding my book. I don't think I would really want to meet Johnny Adair, tell you the truth. Pat Jennings, Jerry Armstrong, Tim McGarry, Carl Frampton, Jimmy Carr, Marvin Hagler, David Healy, played for Northern Ireland, Stephen Nolan, Noel Thompson. He used to host one of my favourite programmes, Hearts and Minds. Amir Khan, Teddy Atlas, Joe Goosen, met the Duchess of Kent, Alex Higgins, Joe Brawley, Patrick Keelty, Harry Carpenter. I met a Coronation Street star in 1984, and along with Harry Holland and a couple of others, we went for a drink just up from the Hogarth Boxing Club. But this particular guy, I recognised him from Coronation Street. He was having an affair at the time on the programme with one of the main stars. So he was thrust into the media spotlight. And he was very famous at the time, but I can't remember his name. Phil Daniels. Phil Daniels was in Quadrophenia and Scum, and also starred in EastEnders. Billy McNeil, former Celtic captain when they won the European Cup 1967. Buster Bloodvessel, leader of the band Bad Manners. Cannon and Ball. Bananarama. I nearly had a fight with our minders on Ann Street in Belfast in 1983. They were over for the funeral of Kids O'Reilly, whose brother was dating one, I think it was Siobhan from the band at the time. Brad Mitchell, the great South African boxer, made 13 title defences, and because of apartheid he couldn't box in his own country, so he went on the road and to defend your belt 13 times successfully in other people's countries. When you talk about hometown decisions and robberies, wow, what a fighter. What a fighter, one of my favourite fighters. And I met him in Wales during, he was over for the Rugby World Cup in 1981. And I met him at a Barry Hearn show. And the two of us played about letting on the shadow box and all. Lovely, lovely guy. And it was Barry McGuigan pointed him out to me. He says, there's Brian Mitchell over there, but I approached him and he's a bit odd. So he wasn't odd, he was drunk. So let me see. Joyce Taylor, Robbie Regan, Wales' first two-time world champion, 2 weight divisions. Great fighter, Robbie Regan, also European champion. And I met him in George Best's house up in East Belfast. Craigie? No, what did you call it? Bernard Dunn, Eamon Holmes, Frank Bruno, Jim Watt, Donna, the Eurovision Song Contest winner in 1972, I think. All kinds of everything. Mike Nesbitt, former Ulster Unionist leader, MLA. I think he's still Ulster Unionist leader. Well, before he got into politics, he was into sports and he was a journalist and he interviewed me. Alban McGuinness, the first ever nationalist Lord Mayor of Belfast. Alex Maskey, the first ever Republican Lord Mayor of Belfast. 2 historical figures there. They'll go down in history. They'll be remembered when all these other ones will be forgotten. Morris Hope, former world light middleweight champion. Juan Laporte. Roy Evans, former Liverpool player and Liverpool manager. Glenn McCrory, former world cruiserweight champion. Brian Kennedy, singer. Mickey Duff, promoter. Mary Peters, 1972 Olympic gold medalist. Jimmy White, Steve Davis. Eamon McAuley introduced me to Steve Davis over at Romford. And Eamon McAuley had previously told me that Steve Davis was a big fan of Carl Crook, who I knocked out in the ABA final. So when Eamon McAuley introduced me to Steve Davis, he said to Steve Davis, Steve, this is Eamon McAuley. He knocked Carl Crook out in 2 rounds, breaking his nose in 3 places. And I piped up and I says, I know I'm barred from them 3 places. And Steve Davis liked it. He liked that joke. So, Paddy Devlin, one of the founder members of the SDLP, great man, former IRA man too, but it ended up he was very respected and revered, not just by the nationalists, but also by the unionists. He used to drop me home, not on a regular basis, maybe 2 or 3 times. He'd drop me home from Barney Eastwood's gym 2 hours down where I live. He was with his son, and he would have popped in the odd time to Barney Eastwood's gym. Barry Hearn, Martin Lynch, the playwright, Reg Gutteridge, the boxing presenter, Owen Paul. Owen Paul had a number 3 hit, You're My Favourite Waste of Time. And I think it was in the top 10 for 17 weeks or something. Made him a millionaire. He was a one-hit wonder. But I'll tell you this wee story. I was in the BBC talking to Joy Williams when this guy tried to go through the revolving doors with a guitar in his back. And I rushed to help him. But he was an ignorant git. He never acknowledged me. He never said thanks. So he scurried on and I went over to the reception. He says, well, what do you call him? He's an ignoramus. And it was a girl says, his name's Owen Paul and he's late for his performance. He's lucky he didn't get a dig in the gut that day. John Lowe went over to, when I was a kid, my dad brought me over to Saunders to see the great John Lowe play darts. Tommy Farr. I met Tommy Farr the day after the ABA final when Harry Holland was running the boxing show at Queensway. And I shook hands with him. I got introduced to him. Tommy Farr took Joe Lewis the full 15 rounds. Bernardo Pinango and Antonio Esparragosa, two Venezuelans and two legendary world champions. Antonio Esparragosa made 8 defences of his title, most of them in China, Japan. Michael Nunn, Jim Neely, the boxing and rugby presenter, gentleman. Frankie Duarte, legendary Los Angeles boxer. Gennaro Hernandez, great super featherweight champion, he was nearly 6 foot. Me and Paul Hodgkinson met him in the gym in LA and he died very young. He died in his 30s. Dick McTaggart, 1956 Olympic gold medalist and winner of the Val Barker best boxer of the tournament. They call him the best amateur boxer ever come out of Britain and Ireland. Rindy Monaghan, my great uncle, undisputed, undefeated world flyweight champion. Met him on a regular basis. Eamon McAuley, former world bantamweight champion, which he won in Japan. Olympic silver medalist also. Hugh Jordan, the Sunday World Norland editor. Jim McDowell, the former Sunday World Norland editor. Jack McGowan, the Belfast Telegraph sports presenter. Colin Hart, the Sun sports journalist. Harry Holland, my former manager. Harry is a regular in EastEnders, still to this day. Harry been here already now. And he was in Only Fools and Horses. And he's wrote a book, also a biography, and a man of many parts, you call it. And he was also a very successful small hall boxing promoter. Terry Hooley, you got to watch the film Good Vibrations. One of the best films, local films you ever seen. Fantastic. What a legend, what a hero. A punk deep down in his heart. Shannon Briggs, former world heavyweight champion. No, sorry, he wasn't world heavyweight champion. He fought for the world heavyweight title. And I have a photo of him holding my book. Tyson Fury, met him in the Europa Hotel. Spoke to him, but never got a photo with him. Evan Little, the UTV politics journalist and presenter, remembered for the fact that he couldn't say phenomenon. He could say it off camera, but every time he says, right, roll the cameras, he couldn't. And this went on, he says, keep the cameras rolling, and he couldn't get it out. And it was one of the funniest bloopers you'll ever see. Jackie Fulton, Ballymena man, legend over here in the north. Sports guy, football guy through and through. Character and a half. He introduced me, he interviewed me in the radio. Marie Whittaker, former Page Thiegaard. Me and Harry Holland went to get ticket money from Marie's father. But before we went in, Harry showed me a topless photo of Marie. She was just 16. And she used to parade round the ring with, you know, whatever round it was, held high above her head. A ring girl. And before she was ever famous, you know. But yeah, I seen her tits before any of yous. Pierce Elliott, filmmaker, Pulling Moves, Man About a Dog. Ryan Burnett. Uh, yep. Uh, Woody, Buzz Lightyear, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. That's when I was in Euro Disney. Suppose you can't. No, can't put them down as famous people. No. Anyway, they're going to close Euro Disney. There's a 6 foot mouse running about. Well, that's me, folks. That's me. That's all. There's probably loads more, but yep. Thanks very much, and hopefully I'll be back with a wee boxing talk soon. And I hope I've entertained you today. I'm gonna. It's got a wee bit drier. I'm gonna go into town. Take care and God bless. See you soon.